To have loved is to have lost. And yet we do not know that we have lost until we have loved. We don't know ourselves until we have fully experienced life. And every single day is leading us one more step closer to learning who we are, to extracting ourselves out from our environment, to extracting ourselves out from where we are. And it takes the time, the intentionality, and the space within our heart and within our soul and within our being to step outside of our little bubble. And I think when we step out of our bubble and ask ourselves, what do we want? Those answers become a lot more different than what we have. Because when we fall into a routine, when we fall into something that's safe, when we fall into something that's familiar, we want to keep that. And we want to hold it close. And we want to hold it near and dear to our heart. And when we understand that we can be multiple people for multiple different reasons, we kind of question what we want in life. We question who we want in our life. We question who and what do we allow to happen in our life. And sometimes we have to lose people, and sometimes we have to love people, and sometimes we have to learn what we have had was so good once we have lost it. And I think sometimes you have to lose certain things or certain people in your life to know how good you once had it. And to realize that there's a time and a place for certain people in our lives, and yet we want them. But do we want them for the right reason? Do we want them for our future? Do we want them because they're familiar? Or because they are what's best for us? And I think there's two important differences between that and when you ask yourself that. Because so many people, and literally just like was talking with my friend, so many people that we know have gotten married so young. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting married young. There's nothing wrong getting married old. It's simply just interesting to see who ends up in the long term. Because I've seen people get married young and have kids young and then end up getting a divorce or simply breaking up. And I've seen people get married at a young age and making it, getting through the hard times, laughing through the hard times, crying through the hard times. And I do think one thing is true. Our current society does romanticize finding your perfect one singular person the younger you are. Like it's a necessity that you find that one person right away. It's a necessity that you find them right out of high school, out of college, out of primary school, secondary school, etc. Because don't get me wrong, I literally know a person from my middle school who they started dating in their 8th grade year. Literally their 8th grade year. Made it through high school, went to the same college and made it through college. Now they got married and now they had a child. Crazy. And I do believe that for them that's what works. And I do think for other people that's not worked and it doesn't work for them. And I think it's hard. And I think it's challenging. And I think it's hard to step out of yourself and ask yourself, is this person the one for you in the future? Is this one person for you right now? And it was crazy because just seeing so much love and seeing someone just have so much heartbreak, it's strange. It's strange to see that from the perspective of loving someone so whole and close to you, and yet you know you have to let them go, and yet you want the best for them, and yet you guys become strangers who have beautiful memories. And if you love them, let them go. if they were meant for you, they'll come back. And I think all those statements are true. Is to love is to have lost, and to have lost is to have loved. And I think when you can share such beautiful, rich memories with somebody and love and care for somebody, that's a gift. That's a blessing. And that's something that you can't take for granted. And I think in the same time, you have to know when it's no longer serving you. You have to know when you're diluting yourself. You have to know when you are losing yourself. Because sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself again, to learn and love yourself all over again, to learn that you are more than that relationship. And I think when you finally take a moment for yourself to ask and realize and question, is this what I want, or is this just familiar to me? Is this what I want, or is this just safe to me? And I think we just have to continue to ask ourselves and question our own reality to an extent, because there's like that question that's like, do you really even understand something if you can't be questioned? Can you understand something if you don't even know the answer to it, unless you just follow it blindly? And it just makes me think and wonder, are we conditioned just to want to have that one common thing in our life? When we step outside, when we step outside familiarity, when we step outside of our comfort zone, when we believe and think that this person's for us, this is what we want, this is all that we've wanted, and we dream about a future. Is this future really for us? Is this future really ours? And I say this because I'm in my early 20s and I just see so many things. And we all experience such different depths of love and of hurt and of acceptance and of grief, pain, joy, and everything in between. And I think when we can question what we are experiencing now, if it's with a significant other, if it's with a friend, that we maintain ourselves, that we maintain who we are, that we are us. Because I think it's very easy to lose yourself, to lose friendships, to lose so much of you to a relationship or a friendship because you want to be with them and spend time with them, which is nothing wrong. I think it just becomes a little questionable when you are only spending time with them and losing yourself. Because deep down, you only have you at the end of the day. You only have your heart, your mind, and your soul and your being, and only you at the end of the day. And I think it's crushing for a lot of people, and I think it's so hard for a lot of people as well. I saw on Instagram that it was like, she had been in like a 4-year relationship and she broke up with this person. And the first day, terrible. Second day, terrible. Third day, terrible. A week, a little better. A month, a little better. Second month, better. Third, fourth, 10th year, better. And she said, a lot of people were questioning how I got over this person so quickly. But I had been grieving them for so long. I had been grieving them. And once I finally let go and allowed myself to let go, I didn't anymore. I didn't have that constant reminder of them in my head. I didn't have that constant feeling of dread of seeing them, of wanting them to be a different person. She didn't say that part, but that was just my interpretation of the few sentences that I said. But she did say that she was grieving them for a while, but it just is so different. Healing is so different. And I think it does take yourself to lose yourself to find yourself again. That not every single romantic relationship or friendship will last forever. That there is an expiration date. Even in long-term marriages and relationships, technically there's an expiration date, sadly. And it just made me think of this other Instagram video that this like woman was like, yeah, I knew there was an expiration date. I assumed there was some type of visa or like passport issue or something, or like her station, whatever, was gonna end. And so I think she probably left that relationship once she left the country and so forth, because it just wasn't meant to be, type of thing. But I just think one of the most important things in life is to never lose yourself because of a partner or a friendship, or the idea of the future with somebody else, or honestly even having kids. And I think a lot of fathers too, but I feel like specifically mothers lose their identity because they're always giving themselves to the child and so forth. But not the point of the video. But it's you. You are the point of the video. That you need to realize that sometimes you do have to lose something to know that you loved. And you have to be willing to lose something to experience that true depth of love. And I think it's scary. I think it's scary to give somebody your everything, and understand that your risk could be your reward and your biggest downfall. But to have lived is to have loved, and to have loved is to have lived, but also to have lost. But the thing is, isn't it better to say that you tried than nothing at all? Isn't it better to say that your heart was given to somebody trustworthy to learn something about you? Whether that's someone setting your standards, somebody teaching you a lesson that you didn't want to learn, something that's gonna serve you in a year from now, 2 years from now. Platonic or romantic, everything teaches you the same thing in different ways. As long as you allow it to be that source of education, to be that source of living, to be that source of finding something greater than you that you would have never even learned. And I think when the heart wants something and doesn't get it, or the soul, or the body, or just something that you actually want within yourself, and you don't get it from another person, it compromises. There's a reason why you want something. There's a reason why you don't want something. And don't let yourself have to compromise your own wants and your own desires for somebody else. Because that's not fair to you. That's not fair to your own being. And I think so often we do that. We compromise for ourselves. We compromise so many things to accommodate for other people, to make sure other people are heard and seen and felt. But do we do that for ourselves? Do we tell those other people that we want X, that we need Y, that we need that extra bit of support? And I think that truly comes from within. That I think if you need that time and that space and you just need to leave and exit, then do it. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast with, I think his name was Mark. This is like one of her recent, about, he is Uncle Marvin. Uncle Marvin is who he's talking about. And he was just expressing how you just need to mentally rehearse big decisions. You know when you need to leave something. You know when you need to do something. You just have to do it up here first to then execute it. Or maybe that was a different podcast. I don't know. But if you need time and space and you don't feel confident enough to say it, practice it up in your head to then give yourself the confidence that you can say it and do it and make the decisions for you. Because you have lost yourself, I think, at times. And so you need to relearn how to love yourself, just as important as you love other people. And that's hard. Because I genuinely think you have to lose yourself to find yourself again. And to realize that you are just as important as any person in the world. Because every single person, I promise you, every single person in the world is fighting their own battles, is literally looking at you and being like, oh, that's fine, whatever. They're a side character in my life, I don't think much about them. And it's true. You have to be able to focus on yourself. Pour that love into yourself, even if you think that you've lost it, giving it to someone else. Because you can never give enough love. You never run out of love. Just because you might feel hurt does not mean that you don't have an extra love for yourself. That you can't pour that love that you gave to someone else back into yourself. I kind of think of it like you might have a social battery and it's kind of running on empty. And even though you feel like you don't have any more love, that you feel empty, you can always find ways to love. You can always find ways to be grateful, to be like, wow, my body supported me all day today by eating food, by beating my heart, by keeping me alive. And that is love. My body supports me, and that is love. And pour that love back into you, that you love yourself. Just because you lost yourself in that friendship or that relationship, that doesn't mean that you can't find yourself again and learn about yourself again. And I just want you to know, whether you are in a relationship or a friendship, or you feel like you're stuck or that you've lost yourself, ask yourself, what do you want to do right now? Getting your hair done, doing your nails, fixing your car, going on a walk, running. It's all about you. It's not about them. Because your journey, your healing journey, your journey of trying to find out who you are, there's no right way. There's no right way to love or to heal or someone to tell you how to hurt. Yeah, a lot of times we feel like we have to feel pain in a certain way to know that we are healing. But it's not. We all have our own ways of healing. We all have our own ways of dealing and living and caring and loving and sharing. So, take a moment to learn and love yourself. Because not every day is going to be easy. But when you can learn to love yourself, it gets a little easier. Food for thought.